I played at the Monterey Jazz Festival, my first time, with the Ted Kurson sextet at that time. It would change back and forth between actually quartet, quintet, and sextet. When we were in New York, it was always a sextet. I think on the West Coast, it was somewhat limited, and I think we had a quartet or quintet. Can't remember, a long time ago. But I had a manager by the name of Jeff Ross who talked with Jimmy Lyons and said, I want David to open up as a soloist. And Jimmy hadn't done this before, especially with a bass player. It was quite an unusual thing to ask, but he agreed, and he actually also agreed to pay me some extra money, which was good. I had a good manager, Jeff Ross. And so I remember playing the festival. I remember it was, you know, Monterey Jazz Festival, a lot of people are talking. It's like a social gathering. Now it's changed somewhat. But at that time, it was just, bands would be playing, but a lot of people would be talking. And there would be seats there that people would pay for, season seats. Of course, they weren't talking, they were listening, but a great majority of the people were talking. So Jimmy wanted to introduce me on solo bass. He wanted to go out and quiet the crowd. I said, no, Jimmy, don't do that. Just let me go out and play. I says, I don't want to force the people to have to be quiet to listen to solo bass. Just let me go out and do it, start playing, and we'll see what happens. So I did this, and it got very quiet. As the reviewers mentioned in the newspaper the next day, they had never heard it so quiet. And it actually became very successful. There's something very unusual with solo bass, and I had been playing solo bass concerts for a while at that time, so it was nothing new for me, but I think it was for the audience. And that turned out really well. Unfortunately, Jimmy shared this with me later. He got a lot of horn players that came to him afterwards and said, what are you doing letting the bass go out there and steal the show? And he says, the bass player is supposed to be in the background with the piano and the drummers. I've been riding in the back of the bus long enough, which is why I like to set up in a semicircle so everyone can see everyone. And especially the bass players and drummers, we can hear the sound of the horn coming out of the bill of the horn, not just a monitor and playing to the backs of the musicians. But the people that first, great musicians who first demonstrated this to me was Coltrane when he was in Seattle, and also Charles Mingus Band. Hear the Bird, he's singing one of my tunes. Accompany me as I'm doing this sharing with you. Anyways, they didn't like it. They were very upset about it. So Jimmy invited me back the following year, since it had been such a success of my appearance. But he says, you can't have a bass solo. I thought that was very funny. I said, no bass solo? He says, no, you cannot have a bass solo. It's got to be in the context of doing something with a band. So I went to Henry Wilkin, who's a great friend of mine, who ran the jazz department at the University of Utah at that time, and he helped me arrange some of my music that was to be played with the California All-Star High School Band. And so guitarist John Stoll and I did that together. I think Benny Green was in that All-Star High School Band, and the great guitarist Larry Coons was also in that band. Yeah, it turned out well. There's no bass solo though. I thought it was funny. I didn't take offense to it. You know, I've broken tradition a lot of times, but not out of disrespect, but just as a jazz individualist, as a creator, you know. That's the thing that jazz has done for me, is really give me the opportunity to share who I am as an individual. And musically, it's not better or worse, but it's who I am. Hope you enjoyed this little story.